Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd Podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I am your host, Joe Garcia, so grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's dive right on in. Our first game news topic of the day is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 reveal trailer. So, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 kind of being leaked with one of the skaters who accidentally leaked that there was going to be a game release. So, here we go, finally, a rumor confirmed. This trailer looks like a lot of fun. It takes me back to when I used to play the Pro Skater games as a kid, so I'll probably look forward to playing this game myself. It's a nice little trailer, and I really enjoy it when studios and games make remakes like this, especially to old classic games that we really enjoyed playing when we were younger. It brings out the nostalgia factor for me, and I'm sure for a lot of you. So, yeah, tell me what you guys think. Are you excited for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4? Were you hoping for something else from this studio, or are you really happy? And are you hoping for another remake for a Pro Skater type game? Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving on to our next topic, Monster Hunter Wild surpasses 8 million units sold in 3 days. I believe this is the fastest Konami game to do so. So, that's really exciting news for Konami, and that's really exciting news for the gamer. This game in particular, I know that there's a debate amongst a lot of industry people where they're deciding whether multiplayer is the way to go or single player is the way to go. Multiplayer being the continuous funding, continuous money coming in, with microtransactions and so forth, like the Call of Duty games and other pay as you go games like Marvel Rivals. And this game is kind of a little bit in the middle, I'd say. This is more of a single player campaign based game, but I know there's a lot of opportunity to do some type of microtransaction and stuff like that. Now, I'm not a big Monster Hunter Wild person. I never played the first one, and so far from the second one, it's looking like a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what they did with the first one, but I heard that there was a lot of DLCs and things of that sort. So I'm sure that the studio is very happy with selling over 8 million units and just 3 days. So that's very successful for this game release, and they should be celebrating tremendously. And I think this is good for gamers because, I think it's good for us to finally have some successes going on this year. This year's been, or last year and this year's been kind of a up and down kind of thing with a lot of layoffs and things, which we'll talk about a little later with Sony. But yeah, I'm very happy for this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the company takes this success moving forward. I know Monster Hunters is a big franchise now for Konami or Capcom. Sorry, I said Konami, didn't I? Yeah, it's Capcom, not Konami. So I know it's a big franchise for them, so I know that they're very happy and they should be celebrating popping champagne right now. So congratulations to them on doing so good in their first 3 days. And that just it's just going up from here at that point. So I'm sure that they'll make their money back pretty soon if they haven't already. On to our next topic. So I got a comment yesterday from a viewer named David. Forgive me, David. I don't remember your full username, but I'm just going to use your first name. But David, and he told me to take a look at Clair Obscur. So Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has just 2 days ago they released this gameplay footage, and wow, I'm very happy he recommended it to me. It looks phenomenal. It looks like a lot of fun, and I never heard of this game before he introduced me to it. So I'm very thankful, and this gameplay looks like a lot of fun. And you know what's funny? This game is almost a turn-based strategy game. There's a little extra into it. It's not just turn-based. You have to like aim your controller. If your character has a gun and you use your turn-based move, you actually have to aim at the monster that you're attacking or the character that you're attacking. So it's very intuitive for a turn-based strategy game, but the graphics look so good. Uh, it just looks like a lot of fun, and it's gonna probably have to be a game I check out. And luckily, this game comes out next month in April, so I think it's a game that you guys should probably take a look at if you get the opportunity. Take a look at the gameplay, see if it's something that you like. And after seeing this, I really hope that this game does well because I would really like to see if you haven't played. There's an old PlayStation game called Legend of Dragoon, and if you haven't played that game, it's a lot of fun and it's turn-based, and I think that this studio or this type of game would really do well for a Legend of Dragoon type remake for a game. And I think, seeing this game reminded me of Legend of Dragoon, so that's probably why I'm very interested in it. But if this game does really well and sells well, I'm hoping that in the future we can get this studio to actually make a Dragoon type game with this gameplay style. I think that would be a lot of fun. I know people are more looking or hoping for like a Final Fantasy esque, style for Legend of Dragoon remake if they ever get to it, if they ever do it. But I think this one would be a first initial start, maybe even a remake of Legend of Dragoon in this play style. So that would be a lot of fun as well. Anyways, that's just me spitballing, but this game looks phenomenal. I can't wait to play it. Let me know what you guys think. I'll have a link to the gameplay and the game down below. So please let me know what you guys think. And yeah. Moving on to our next topic, Split Fiction dev says studio will never implement microtransactions in their game. And you know what? This makes a lot of sense. I know microtransaction is the way of the future for the video game industry. At least that's where a lot of studios are taking their business because, that's where most of the money's coming in. And that makes a lot of sense. You want to grow your business, you want to continue to go. But for this studio, they have had such success in telling their linear stories and doing their, split screen-esque gameplay. So why, mess with that? Why try something different when what they're doing is very successful? They won Game of the Year with their last game, and I'm pretty sure this year they're going to probably be up for another nomination with Split Fiction if it's as good as it looks. So yeah, don't break what isn't, or don't fix what isn't broken, and continue to tell your beautiful, wonderful stories, I'd say. So yeah, it would make no sense for this studio to try to implement microtransactions or to try to do any other game than the multiplayer games stories that they've been telling. However, I would like this studio to try to tell, try to make a game that is a single player s game that isn't split screen like this, but can have or can have co-op aspects without the screen being split down the middle. I know that's their bread and butter and that's their signature, but I would like to see what they would do to break out of that and to see what they would come up with. But it's really nice to see some studios just not go for the microtransaction side of the game industry and know that they're being successful without it and to continue to move forward without it. I think that's very good and that's very beneficial not only for the studio but for us as gamers because we need games. And a lot of executives and a lot of higher ups at studios have in the past said that multiplayer is the way of the future, that no one likes enjoying or playing single player games, and that is just false. God of War was one of the highest selling games of that year. Ghost of Tsushima did great. So most of these single player games are doing very successful and they're kicking a lot of ass. And I'm happy that we were able to, put these executives in their place. And now they know that people enjoy these single player campaigns and studios are able to make them and be successful and possibly even more successful than some studios that do microtransactions because we've been seeing a lot of layoffs and a lot of games being shut down that players aren't really interested in all the microtransactions all that much. They want to be told stories, they want to play good games, and a lot of times these games can come off as cookie cutter games, copy and paste, especially the Call of Duty games, at least for me. But that's a big franchise, so you never know what's going to happen with that. Moving on to topic number 5 for games, Sony layoffs an unknown number of workers at PlayStation Visual Arts Studio. Now, this just goes to say a lot of layoffs have been happening within the last 6 to 8 months in the game industry. It's been a wild west out there with whether you're going to keep your job or whether you're not. I was part of a mass layoff back in December for myself, so I know how these people are feeling. And yeah, in the world, a lot of layoffs are going on. It's not a very good economy, not a very good industry right now where not everyone's booming and making as much money as they once were, sorry. Speaking ghetto. Anyways, so yeah, this is just really sad to see, and I know there's been other layoffs other than visual arts studios for Sony and PlayStation, and we're probably looking to see a lot more layoffs come forth within the industry within this next year until things change, and those changes are either going to happen for the people. The price of living is really high right now, so buying games and being invested in your video games is not beneficial for you at the moment. So they're losing a lot of money there. And on top of that, a lot of these studios aren't making the games that a lot of people want to play. Now, the games that they've announced look like a lot of fun, but who knows and what's going to happen in the future if players are going to be interested in all these game titles. We'll just have to wait and see. Right now that they're focusing on their big franchises is what's important. So when we see Ghost of Yote and other big games like that come out, hopefully Sony can jump back and do really good for themselves. They're probably the most successful right now. Oh, well, I mean, Nintendo's probably the most successful right now as far as the video games are concerned. But they're doing really good. They're much better than Xbox at the moment, and we'll see what happens. It's really sad to see this happen, but we'll continue to get layoffs, and we'll continue to bring you guys stories on who's being laid off and for what reasons and why. But yeah, that does it for our game news for today, guys. Moving on to movie news. Now, I was gone for that past week due to family situations, so there's a lot of things that I need to catch up on as far as news. So I might be talking about things that have been talked about last week, but I feel like it's important for me to talk about them because maybe you guys don't know about them and haven't heard about them, and I just want to bring you guys the information as it's passed along to me. So there's going to be a couple stories in here that are a couple days old, but who cares? Let's get going. Shrek 5 announcement trailer was released last week, and honestly, it's a cool little introduction trailer. I for some reason do not like the character designs for Donkey. Shrek's fine. He doesn't look normal as he did in the past, but I don't like the character design for Donkey, and for some reason I don't like the character design for Fiona. Uh, Even though we see her talk with teeth, for some reason she looks like she's missing teeth. Like she looks like an old woman without teeth, and I don't know. I just found it really weird the way that the art style was shown, and I know that that's been going around the internet that everyone's been talking about how the art looks and they don't like the new character design. So luckily we're not getting this movie until like holiday 2026, so they have time to change that art style and things like that. But we have Mike Myers coming back, Eddie Murphy's coming back, Cameron Diaz is returning, and we have a new character with Zendaya playing Shrek's daughter. Now I'm very curious. I haven't seen the Shrek movies in quite some time, but if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have triplets? So I'm curious if one of the triplets was Zendaya or if they had another child since then, and if the triplets are even going to play a part of the story. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but that's just what I remember from the Shrek movies. It's been a while. One of my favorite parts from, I think it was Shrek 3. I wasn't sure if it was Shrek 3 or 4, but was the guy like do the roar, do the roar, and then when he does the roar, he goes, "I love you, daddy." And I I think that was one of my favorite parts from that movie. Me and my brother used to do that to my dad all the time. We used to go up to him and be like, "I love you, daddy," just to get him to laugh. So good memories with that. I'm really looking forward to Shrek. I grew up on the Shrek movies, and Shrek 2 is probably the best one of the franchise in my opinion. Uh, Shrek 1 would probably be the second best, and 3 and 4 were not all the best, but yeah. And I'm hoping also we get a return of Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots. There's just a lot, and I'm very curious what this story is going to be, and I'm very excited for this movie, and I look forward to 2026 when it drops. Moving on to our next topic, Daredevil Born Again episode 1 and 2 dropped last night, and I had the opportunity to watch them this morning. I was going to watch them last night, but I decided to spend some time with the lady instead, so I ended up watching them this morning, and wow, great episodes. They really found a way to continue it from the Netflix series. It really picks up quite well. If you haven't seen the Netflix series, I highly recommend you go check those out and then jump right into Daredevil Born Again, because it'll help you with a lot of context of what's going on with Daredevil and Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, and what's going on with Foggy and all the other characters. Now, I know this series had a lot of reshoots happen. I know they basically scrapped a lot of what they had initially and went to rehaul the whole series. But so far, what I'm seeing these first two episodes, what great characters, great episodes. Action was good. The first episode, action, like the start of the series, I don't want to say too many spoilers, but The first fight has like a lot of CGI, and it was very uncanny, and I was very wondering why they went with that. But even though it was very CGI heavy, it was still fun and entertaining. But episode 2 was really good. The way that they ended that episode, I'm not gonna say too much, but there's a fight in like an apartment, and oh my god, like the cliffhanger, I was just so upset that I couldn't see episode 3 right away. And I think this is a great show so far, and I really look forward to seeing where they go with this series. So I'll probably be giving you guys weekly little reviews per episode as they release. I believe that this show is going to be 12 episodes. I could be mistaken about that. I'll get you guys the details next time. But yeah, what a great way to start this show. What a great way to continue the MCU franchise. And I'm really enjoying Daredevil Born Again so far. I hope you guys have a chance to take a look at it. If not, I highly recommend it. And if you haven't seen the original Daredevil series on Netflix, what a good time to jump in. You have a lot of content to look at. So I hope you guys have the opportunity to take a look at that and enjoy it. Moving on to topic number 3 for movies, Kathleen Kennedy to leave Lucasfilms at the end of 2025. So, if you guys haven't heard, Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilm, or the head of Lucasfilm, and she handles all the Star Wars films and also the Indiana Jones. But, while Kathleen Kennedy, but before I say anything, Kathleen Kennedy is probably one of the best producers in Hollywood. She has worked on some of the biggest films, from Jurassic Park to E.T. She's worked with Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and has done amazing in her career as far as the producer's concerned. Now, on paper, it made a lot of sense when George Lucas handpicked her to lead Lucasfilm when he sold Lucasfilm off to Disney. And she started off doing really well with The Force Awakens. I still, to this day, even though Star Wars has kind of fallen off, I still think The Force Awakens was a great reintroduction to this world, and they could have taken it into a lot of different places. And they have had some successes with The Mandalorian. Andor has been a success. But overall, Star Wars has been a failure. And a lot of that has to do with Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, sadly. She should have had the trilogy planned out from the beginning and not done individual stories. There's so many things that she could have done that hasn't worked out. There have been so many directors jumping on board to do a Star Wars film, and then later on announcing that they've left creative differences, or supposedly they're worked on other projects, so they're no longer working with that. I know they've announced certain films, certain projects that just never fell through. And even some of the ones that did go through, like Solo, a Star Wars story, those directors initially, I guess they had creative differences like halfway through the shoot, and they had to end up bringing in Ron Howard to reshoot the film and redirect a lot of it. And that says a lot when you as a leader can't really get your ducks in a row and get things moving for your studios and for your franchise, especially one of the biggest franchise in the world, where many people in the film industry, I'm sure, would have loved to have jumped on a Star Wars film, and she just never capitalized on getting some of the biggest names, some of the biggest people, some of the biggest projects going. And yeah, the franchise fell off, and a lot of people aren't really interested in Star Wars anymore, including myself. I'm not very interested in a Star Wars project. I haven't even seen the first season of Andor because I'm not interested in Star Wars, but I've been hearing good things, so maybe when season 2 comes out, I will check out Andor. But all that being said, I think Kathleen Kennedy should have been relieved of her duties years ago at this point, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And, we haven't had a Star Wars movie in a very long time, and that's not good. I know that I think she wanted to leave on a high note, probably. That's why she's still there. I'm sure that she's well beloved by all the people over there at Disney, but sad to say, I think it's good for her to leave. Now, she said she's not retiring. She's going to continue to make films and producing, which is really good. I can't wait to see what her future projects are as a producer, because she is one of the best producers in the world. But as far as leading a studio, I hope they bring in someone that can better handle and better utilize the skills of their creators and move things forward for Star Wars. And I don't know if they need to do a reboot. I don't know what they're going to end up doing, but I'm looking forward to what the future of Star Wars will be without Kathleen Kennedy, sadly. So yeah, goodbye, Kathleen Kennedy. Thank you for your service, but uh, we're hoping for better things to come forward. On to our next topic. So, Punisher special for Marvel and Disney Plus, written by John Bernthal. So I think I want to say a month ago, Disney said they're no longer going to do, or Marvel said that they're not going to no longer going to do specials for Disney Plus. But I guess John Bernthal pitched them with a good idea for the Punisher. Now I know he's going to be showing up in Daredevil Born Again. We've seen that in the trailers for the show. So I really love John Bernthal as this character, and I didn't know he was a writer, but maybe he had an idea and he's going to write it with other people. I don't know all the details about it yet, but this is very exciting for me. I'm hoping it's kind of like what they did with Werewolf by Night. If you haven't seen that on Disney Plus, I highly recommend it. I think that's probably one of the best things that they've done so far. So I'm very excited to see a Punisher special. I'm hoping it's going to be brutal, rated R, kind of how the Punisher should be. And this is just exciting news. I think John Bernthal is a fantastic actor, and I look forward to seeing what happens and what turns out for this project. And I just wanted to put it on your guys' radar. All right, on to our last topic for today. Forgive me, guys. I'm going to be clicking around here because I want to pull up information. So, since I know it's a late, we're 5 days into March, but I wanted to tell you guys what the releases for March are going to be as far as movies are concerned. Now, I have a list here that has quite a bit of movies. So, if you're interested in seeing what all the movies are for March, please feel free to look down in the description below and check out that calendar. It's from IMDb, but I'm going to be focusing on some of the main movies being released, probably one or two per week. So on March 7th, which is this Thursday, or this Friday, my apologies, we have Mickey 17 and Queen of the Ring. Now, I haven't heard of Queen of the Ring, but I think it's a biography, and it looks pretty interesting. I love the actress involved, but my most interested one is Mickey 17. It's from the director of Parasite, I believe, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to that movie, and the trailers have been really nice so far. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you gonna check out Mickey 17th? I'll probably get a review for you guys by Thursday night or Friday. On March 14th, we're looking at Black Bag and Novocaine. Novocaine looks like a lot of fun. Jack Quaid taking his popularity from The Boys and utilizing that to make some interesting movies. So yeah, Novocaine looks like it's a lot of fun. Looks like a nice action thriller comedy. So looking forward to that one. Black Bag is with Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. It looks interesting. Not really my type of movie per se, but I'm thinking about checking it out. I love Cate Blanchett as an actress. I think Michael Fassbender is a phenomenal actor, but he hasn't really picked the best projects. So I'm really interested in seeing how this movie turns out. So we'll check that out on March 14th. Here we go. We have, I don't think that's a movie. Oh no, Hans Zimmer Friends. Nope, that's not the one. I'm scrolling down here. Okay, here we go. March 21st, we have Snow White, and we have the Alto Knights, which I think is that Robert De Niro movie. Um, yeah, Alto Knights, not really interested in it. Robert De Niro's a great actor, so might have to check that out. Snow White, definitely not interested in it, but there's been a lot of drama with that movie because of the actress Rachel Zegler, and things that she said, and there's just a lot of political mumbo jumbo behind it, which I feel has been really wrong for the movie. And also they had a lot of reshoots, getting rid of like the original idea they had for the dwarves. Now they're CGI dwarves. There's just a lot of things going on with this movie. So sad to see it's probably not doing well. I think they released recently what the projections are for that movie. We'll probably talk about that next episode. I'll give you guys more details on that, but it's not looking good. So yeah, moving on to March 28th, we got Death of a Unicorn. This movie looks like a lot of fun. We got Paul Rudd. We got what's her name, Jenna Ortega in the movie. It's a comedy horror fantasy. So yeah, that movie looks like a lot of fun. And we also got A Working Man with Jason Statham. Now, The Beekeeper was a surprise. It was a surprise movie for me. I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. So because of that, I'm definitely gonna check out The Working Man. Sometimes you just want to see a badass be a badass and just fight and kill people, and sometimes it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Um, we also have on March 28th, The Woman in the Yard, which is a horror film. It looks pretty interesting from the trailer that I seen. So yeah, that's about it. There's some other movies coming out during March. So again, if you want to see what those movies are, go ahead and check out the list I have down below. But yeah, that does it for the movies that I'll probably be watching and reviewing this month. Probably not all of them. I'll see if I get around to it. You know, I don't have all the money in the world, so we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening there. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast. So thank you all for joining me. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. And until then, remember, stay true, be odd.